Hello YouTube, my name is Stainless Steel Rat, and I've got a bit of a problem. I've been a member of Steam for 20 years, and in that time I've managed to accumulate quite a number of video games, even more DLC if that's possible. And what I've realized is I own all these games, but there are very many of those games that I've probably never played before. Back in the day, it wasn't uncommon for Steam to offer a publisher's catalog sale where you could buy uh, an obscene amount of games for relatively little cash. And given that I have very poor impulse control, it wasn't long before my accumulation got the better of me. Uh, about 2 years ago, I had a stroke, and it left me paralyzed on the right side of my body. Now, in the subsequent time, I have gained a lot of mobility back. I can't walk very well. I'm still gaining fine motor control in my right hand, um, and my speech has been affected a little bit. And one of the things my therapist said I really need to do is, much like I have to work out and train my muscles again, I need to do the same thing with speech. So given that I am now semi-retired, I figured what better way to work on my speech than to go through this catalog of games. And I thought, hey, I'm not a YouTube guy, right? I've got OBS running, and that's about the extent of it. Uh, who knows? Maybe further on down the line we'll add special effects, but for the most part, my idea here is to go through, and I've categorized these to the best of my ability, is to go through all these games. Maybe not all. We'll talk about that in a sec. But to go through many of these games, if not most of these games, and give them a fair play. 15, 20 minutes, uh, a recording, right? Look at one game. If it's good, if there's interest in it from me and from you folks, maybe I'll live stream or do an extended Let's Play. Who knows, right? I'm still kind of developing this in my addle brain as best I can. But as you can see, I've got a pretty diverse catalog of stuff that should keep us going for a long time. And, I'm planning to do these in order, right? So we're going to start with third-person action shooter. And the first game we'll check out, uh, hopefully, is Advent Rising. And you'll notice here, I've never played this game before, right? Let's see, is there a store page? There is. We'll save that for when we actually do the Advent Rising video, which will be the next video. And again, I'll install the game, just check and make sure it works, right? I hate to start a video and then all of a sudden it just crashes. I'll do some very basic prep. In the videos, we'll look at the store page. Now, a lot of these games, or down the line here, there's not going to be a store page for, right? Some games just got booted off of Steam. But we'll do what we can. And again, it's just to explore these different titles. Maybe there'll be stuff on here you've never heard of or seen before. And just take a look at what these games have to offer. Now, there will be some exceptions, right? I'm not going to go through every Assassin's Creed game that I own. And, for those of you wondering why I don't have Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, and Black Flag, I do, but I have those. Well, I had a lot of games on a service called Direct or Drive, which was a Steam competitor back in the day. Unfortunately, they were owned by GameSpy, and as you may or may not know, some of you may never have heard of them, but they went out of business a long time ago. So those games I don't have. Assassin's Creed games are fun, but I have zero interest in replaying them. So what we'll do with this Assassin's Creed is I'll cherry pick a couple of these. I don't think I have much time in Unity, 23 hours, 10 hours. Syndicate, right? Mirage, 3.1. That's a relatively new one. I kind of bounced off that quickly. But again, the idea here is we'll give these games a chance, give you folks a chance to see some of these games if you've never seen or heard of them before. Some of these are going to be fun. Some are going to be absolute turds, right? That's not a bad game. But, this will help me work on my speech. And again, right now I'm currently waiting for Social Security Disability to make a decision on my case. And I've been told that can take upwards of 6 or 7 months. It's been 2 months, so I'm kind of in a holding pattern. If I get SSI disability, it's unlikely I will go back to work. I've had opportunities, but I don't want to bore you with my personal background too much. But the job I did required a fair amount of travel, and that's just not really in the cards for me. I hope one day to be able to walk normally, but my neurologist has advised me you usually make most of your gains in the year after the stroke, right? And given I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary, I'm not giving up, but I'm trying to look at things realistically. So that's enough depressing shit about me, right? I plan to do at least 1 or 2 of these a week. Things could change. I don't know if anybody's ever going to see this. I hope to get some followers, some people to kind of collaborate with on this, and just have fun looking at some of these games. Obviously, at 1,400 plus, there's a lot of games to look through. And again, I'm always open to feedback from you folks. So we're going to start with third-person action shooters, but at some point the majority may say, "Hey, these are boring as hell. We've seen enough of them. Let's go on to the next one." I don't have nearly as many adventure point and click games. And another thing, some of these may be in the wrong place. Okay, so I'm always looking for input from you folks. If we play a game, you say like, that there's no way that's an action game, or there's no way that's probably wrong. Earth Defense Force is not an adventure point and click game. I know that, and I'll probably switch it before we get to it, but there's going to be others like that. So it'll be an opportunity to get help from you folks on where to put these things. So we got Arcade Racers. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but we got Arcade Racing, which kind of the same thing. But again, you see we've got a long list of categories, not to mention games, just categories. Never was a big fighting game. Now, the one thing I will say on all these games, when it comes to using a joystick or using a mouse with my left hand, spot on. So simulator, RTS, those type of mouse games, not a problem. First-person shooters is something I'm still working on. My hope is when we get to FPS games, which I have several of, I'll be at the point where I can play them with a mouse and keyboard. 'Cause I'm one of those PC nerds. I can't play first-person shooters with a joystick. It just drives me crazy. Like, now I'm having an old man moment. Helldivers. I love the first one, right? It's a twin stick shooter. The new one is not necessarily an FPS, but it's definitely. I can't play it with a joystick, and it drives me crazy because I really want to play it. So hopefully by the time we get here, I'll have continued to work on my hand skills to where I can at least passably play a first-person shooter. When it comes to online multiplayer shooters, I'm going to tap out of that. I used to be pretty good, and I just can't handle the fact that if I go on now, I can just hear the first 10-year-old telling me I'm an old cripple, that sort of thing. That'll probably be the nicest thing they say to me. So anyway, like I said, I'll probably start with Advent Rising in the next day or two. The turn and burn on these will be pretty quick, right? I'm not going to do any editing because I don't know how, or anything fancy like this. I'm simply going to put them up on my YouTube channel and see what happens. Hopefully, get some people joining me in this journey, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks, and have a great day.